Hi, folks. Welcome to this review of the task manager called Amazing Marvin. So, Amazing Marvin is a task manager that I discovered a while ago, and it has some really interesting, intriguing, unique features that you won't find anywhere else. So, in this video, I'm going to do kind of a casual review of Amazing Marvin. I've toyed around with it a little bit before, and I'm going to give you my thoughts. In case you're new, my name is Peter Akis. I help people to be more organized and more productive, and I do that through my videos right here on YouTube, but also through my courses. One is a course on OmniFocus, another one is a course on Things 3, which are different task managers, okay? I'm pretty picky when it comes to my task managers, and so Amazing Marvin has a lot of potential, so the fact that I like it should be a good sign for you. So what I'm going to do today is I'm first going to give you a little bit of an overview of what makes Amazing Marvin unique, right? And I'm going to sort of set it up, see if I can set it up in a way that I like it and in a way that I would recommend to you. I'll show you some of the pros, some of the cons, and at the end, I'll take some questions if you guys have any questions. Now, whether you're watching live or whether you're watching the recording, if you do have any questions, if you're watching live, just post those in the comments and I'll look at that at the end. Or if you're watching the recording, you're welcome to leave a comment on the video and I'll get back to you. Okay, so let's start here. I'm going to be sharing my screen with y'all, and I just want to tell you about something first before we start. And the thing I want to tell you about is my free mini course called Choosing the Right Task Manager for You. So if you're not super happy with the task manager that you're using, okay, go check out this free mini course. It's really simple. You just go to peterakis.net/freebies/choosing task manager. It's probably easier just to go to peterakis.net. Scroll down and just click choosing a task manager. And it's a free mini course. It's like 9 lessons. I'll just explain what I mean by a task manager, why you need one, how you pick a good one, what are the 3 key qualities for, that your task manager must have, and I'll make some recommendations for which ones may be good for you. Okay, so go check that, and the link to that is in the description below the video as well. Okay, let's dive in though to Amazing Marvin. So Amazing Marvin over at amazingmarvin.com is a task manager, and it brands itself as being different than some other task managers that you may be used to. And if you're watching this, you may have heard me talk a lot about Things 3 or about OmniFocus, which are amazing, amazing in themselves. So Amazing Marvin is a bit different, okay? So it's very customizable, but let's go a little bit over their sales page just to see how they want you to perceive Amazing Marvin, okay? And then we can judge it based on the marketing. So get more done with more ease. Okay, that's a pretty generic statement. Marvin incorporates principles from behavioral psychology to help you beat procrastination, feel in control, and finish your to-do list. So this beating procrastination is something that they're really big on, okay? So got some good reviews. It's the most feature-rich and customizable personal to-do app. So we're going to have to see if that's actually true. You really can customize a lot, they say. There are workflow templates. If you're using another app, you can import your tasks from another app, so that's pretty cool. For example, things in OmniFocus are on here. I like that. And let's click Why Pick Marvin. They say it's science-based, really heavily on the procrastination, like I was saying earlier. Okay, some of the same stuff. Now, one thing that I want to mention is, let's scroll down. Amazing Marvin is made by, it's a couple, it's very fun, 2 people, and I actually spoke with Christina recently. So I have a podcast. If you don't know about my podcast yet, I'll tell you about it in a second. Christina's going to come on my podcast at some point in the next couple of months. We still have to pick a time, but we've agreed to do an episode, and I think that's going to be fun. So this is a couple who basically said, listen, we have tried a bunch of different task managers out there, and we're not happy with the task managers that are out there. So they decided to build their own, which I think is really cool. And so I really support their project, and they have a very similar view of task managers that I do of what a good task manager should be. So just wanted to share that with you. So Christina's going to come on my podcast, but in the meantime, if you haven't already checked out my podcast, it's called How They Get Stuff Done. You can also just go to podcast.peterakis.net and you'll see the episodes. There's some great episodes on here already. Basically, I talk to successful people and I ask them, hey, how do you do whatever it is that you do? Okay, how do you get your work done? So you can check out the episodes here. You can also just go to How They Get Stuff Done on Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to listen to your podcast. Just search for How They Get Stuff Done. I see that Apple still hasn't updated the show photo. Hopefully they'll do that soon. So go check out the podcast, okay? All right. Again, Amazing Marvin, made by these two people. I think it's going to be very cool. Let's jump in to the app and see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm over here. I've created an account, and they have a free trial, so go ahead and sign up for the free trial. I haven't done very much with this account yet, okay? I've completed, I think, 2 of the 10 demo tasks. So this is a mostly clean Amazing Marvin setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to set this up in a way that I like. Okay, and that's kind of going to be the review. Can I customize it? Can I set it up in a way that I would feel comfortable working with? And along the way, I'll tell you about what a good task manager needs to have, what the tools, which tools it needs to offer you. What are some of the criteria that it should meet to get the Peter Rucky's endorsement, if you will. So, what are we looking at? Well, first of all, we're looking at a web app right now. So if you scroll down on their website, they do have a desktop app, which is, I think, just a wrapper for the web app. They have an Android app, an Apple, like an iOS and app. I think there's no iPad app, but we'll get to that later. You can even download it for Linux. So, between web apps and sort of like desktop apps that are kind of wrappers around web apps, I don't really, doesn't really make a big difference to me. But it's nice to know that there is a desktop app because I guess it will save your information for when you're offline. I have looked at the iOS app, and the iOS app, it doesn't quite have all the features that the web app has, so we're going to talk about that later. Anyway, right now, I'm just at app.amazingmarvin.com. So what have we got here? First thing I'm seeing is I'm being welcomed with a lot of things that we can do to set up Amazing Marvin. So I like that. There's an onboarding process. A lot of the times, how good the onboarding process is really helps you decide whether you like an app or not, okay? And so in this case, I think it's great that they've got some stuff. I don't want to import my tasks. This is a public video. I like to maintain my privacy a little bit, so I'm not going to do that one. That's the first thing that they suggest. I think there were maybe 1 or 2 tasks above this, but like I said, I did spend a little bit of time toying around with it. This is a mostly fresh account. I don't want to do that. I don't want to import my tasks. It was nice to know that it's possible. There's a note. Oh, look, so you can add notes to tasks. So these are just tasks that they've set up for us. If you're already using an app, you can import that, and there's a help link, which I can't click. But presumably that link is going to tell us how. Okay, yeah, so there's just an article. It's just going to show you how to import stuff. Okay, happy to know that that's there. I don't want to do this, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete this task. Really delete? Yes, really delete. Okay, next, what are we going to do? Set up master list. It says press M. Okay, I'm going to press M. Now we're in the master list. So you see there's this navigation on the left. We've got tasks, master list, calendar, timers, stats, and strategies. So we're going to talk about those things, but this opens the master list. I'm just going to click out of it. It says add main categories, areas of your life, perform a brain dump, add every task in your head to the master list. Okay, and organize your tasks and projects into categories. I don't know what, categories are like areas. Okay, let's do that. Let's press M, and now we're over here again, and we're in the master list. Is this a category? There we go. This is category. So I like this. A good task manager should allow you to have a high level grouping of the different areas in your life. Another way to think about it is the different hats that you wear. Let me give you some examples. For example, I always like to have an admin and finances area. You're going to have some tasks and projects in your life that are related to admin stuff or finances, okay? So I like to have a folder for that, or category as they call it at Marvin. There's also going to be home stuff, things to do around the house, clear out the dishwasher or whatever. There's health stuff. Can we drag that one? We can drag that one. I always like to have relationships. I like to think of my relationships with other people. There's some tasks related to that. I'm a member of a Toastmasters public speaking club. In fact, I'm currently the president of my little club. And so I have some tasks for that. And of course, there's my business. So I'll just say business here. And this is a nice classification to start with. Maybe we'll add some folders later, or categories, but this is a good place to start. Now let's see what they have to say over here. Here's a sidebar. This sidebar is shown while you plan your day. You can drag tasks and projects from your master list to schedule them into your day. Don't schedule too many or you'll feel quickly overwhelmed. This is one thing I really like about Amazing Marvin. it feels like the people, the couple, I forget their names. It was like Christina and what is his name? Mark. So Mark and Christina, they've really done a good job. They really want you to be more productive, but also calm, right? They want to help you beat procrastination. It really feels like they care. So I love that. And they're giving you some tips, not just about how to use the app, but also some productivity workflows, mindset, habits. So I like that. Why don't you take this opportunity to open the master list and add some tasks? Okay. Got it. So we've set that up, and it wants us to add the categories. Now it says perform a brain dump. Add every task in your head to the master list. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the master list. Now if I click here, it opens. I find that a little bit confusing. So this is master list, and this is also master list. So that's a little bit confusing to me. And that's kind of one thing that I've noticed so far is there are some things in the Amazing Marvin interface that just, like it looks pretty. I really like how it looks. But there's a couple of things that I'm confused about navigation-wise. So I think there's some opportunities for improvement there. Now, let's add some tasks. So I'm actually going to add a podcast area because, like I said, I do have my podcast, How They Get Stuff Done. And I've got some things that I want to do for my podcast. So I like to distinguish between tasks and projects. Tasks are like one-off things, sort of isolated things. Projects are collections of tasks. You can think of a project as 2 or more tasks that are related. They contribute to a joint outcome. You know what I'm saying? And so one thing I want to do is I want to create a trailer episode for my podcast. You can do this. And then if someone finds my podcast in, say, Apple Podcasts, there's going to be a special episode. I think it's probably going to sit at the top that's like trailer episodes. There's going to be maybe like 1 minute long so someone can listen to that and be like, hey, do I want to check out Peter's podcast before committing to a full, 46-minute episode? So that's something that I want to do. So let's see if we can represent this project in Amazing Marvin. So it's a podcast thing. Add tasks, add projects. So we're going to add a project. We're going to call it Create a Podcast Trailer. Okay, so now we've got that sitting over here. And now how does one add? I guess I could click here to start adding some tasks because I can also open it up, open full screen. Okay, so here I've got a lot of space for notes. So this looks like we're at add tasks that create a podcast trailer. Okay, add a sub-project. So that's cool. It's nice that they've got sub-projects. Let's add some tasks. So watch a video on what should be in a good podcast trailer. Yeah, I'll probably start this project with a little research. I can add a task above or below. I like that. Let's add another one. I'm going to say select 3 short sound bites from existing episodes and record a very brief intro, edit together the intro and the guest sound bites. So these sound bites are, I interview people on my podcast, and so I want to get some really short sound bites from people who have been a guest on my podcast, maybe 5 seconds, 10 seconds each, kind of put those together with a real quick intro for me and then upload that as a podcast trailer. And then I'll say export the file, listen to the whole trailer, and then upload the trailer to transistor.fm. If you're not familiar, transistor.fm is where I host my podcast. It's really cool. Kind of looks like this. It's a very lovely app that's not too expensive, but very professional place to host your podcast. Highly recommend them. In fact, you can actually go, if you go to peterruckis.net and you kind of scroll down and you go to tools I recommend. So it's also peterruckis.net/tools. You can actually see all the tools that I recommend, okay? So the different apps and whatever that I use to run my business or that I use to be productive. And if you scroll down the podcasting, you can see the apps that I use to record my podcast and edit them and stuff. But you can also see what I use to like record my screen, how I run my business, what I do for my email marketing, what I do for my mental health, some meditation app recommendations. So a lot of good recommendations in here. So go check those out, peterruckis.net/tools. Okay. Now we've set up this project. I think it's looking pretty good. We can add some notes. So I could say, I remember Justin Jackson, he's the founder of transistor.fm, did a video on making a good podcast trailer. Okay. Okay, so there's a nice little note there. And I guess if I wanted to, I could have, as I'm selecting those sound bites, I could like list the time in the episode that they come from here or something. So it's a kind of a cool view. I do feel that there's a lot of things going on here. A lot of buttons. Every time I hover over a task, it's like set a time estimate, toggle the notes, schedule the task. That's a lot of stuff. And then here, there's like a lot of buttons. Show task and note. Show just the note, just the tasks. I see. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of and more buttons here. Open the back burner. I don't know what the back burner is yet. What's the back burner? I guess you can probably, it's kind of like in Things 3, you've got a someday feature. That's probably what this is, where you can say, there's some things that I want to do for this project or for this category, but I don't want to do them now, so I'm going to put them on the back burner for later. Probably what that is. Super focus. What's that? If I click super focus. Oh, wow. It shows you just one task at a time. Okay, that's cool. Whoops. Oh, now we're back over here. See, this is a little bit confusing. So back to the master list to expand podcast. I find myself clicking a lot. That's something that I'm not a huge fan of. Okay, you can group items. I don't know what that does. Edit the project. Complete subproject task first. Hide notes. Schedule project. Edit settings. Okay. Mark project done. No, we're not going to hit that one. So now if I want to go back to the master list, if I click X, do I go? Yes. Okay. All right. Let's set up some more stuff. Okay. What are some other tasks that I have? So for Toastmasters, we had a Toastmasters meeting, online meetings these days for my club. So if you don't know what Toastmasters is, it's a public speaking club. People meet, usually a couple times a month for a couple hours at a time. Some people give prepared speeches. Some people do impromptu speeches. Other people give feedback on some of the prepared or impromptu speeches. I'm the current president of the club, so I try to attend every single meeting. But last night I wasn't feeling so well, so I wasn't able to attend our meeting that we did last night, even though it was like a Zoom meeting, a virtual meeting. But we had 2 new members who joined the club, and they gave their first speech. We call that the icebreaker speech. That's really fun. And I felt bad that I wasn't able to attend. And I do want to watch these people's icebreaker speeches, their first speeches in our club. Okay, I want to watch these. So one of the things for me to do is watch Dana and Veronica's icebreaker speeches and give them feedback. Okay, so I'm writing this as one task. Normally, I may separate this. Normally, I might say, watch Dana's icebreaker, watch Veronica's icebreaker, give Dana feedback, give Veronica feedback. But in the interest of time, I'm not splitting those out so much today. Let's do a couple more tasks. I've got some admin tasks coming up. And this will be a nice way to check out the back burner feature. So I'm going to add a task. And I'm going to say, set up a custom domain on hey.com. Now, again, if you're not familiar, hey.com, it is an email service. I think it's really lovely. It's an email service that is like marketed as being really private. They're not reading your emails, unlike Gmail or whatever. I don't know if people at Gmail are actually reading your emails, but theoretically they could. They really do a good job helping you not get emails from people you don't want to get emails from. So a lot of the times I get emails like, Peter, do you want to collaborate with me? And like it's like a spam email that they're sending to 2,000 people, and I don't want to hear from those people. So Hey has some really cool features for not having to deal with those people. It kind of looks like this. Just check Hey out. Just give it a go. There's a free trial. It's really nice. Anyway, they don't currently support custom domains on personal plans yet, so it's kind of too bad because like I want to use my peter@peteruckis.net email address with hey.com. Right now, I'm just forwarding emails that come into that address from Gmail to Hey, but I just want to like have that email address live on Hey natively. That's not something I can do right now because they don't support it yet on personal plans. They're going to support it at some point. So what do I want to do? I want to put this on the back burner and be like, oh, I'm going to do this someday. So now I want to know how to do this. Let's see if I can find the back burner. Scheduled. No, I don't want to schedule it. There's no due date. Labels. Back burner. There we go. There's the button. So if I click back burner, and now I don't see it. That's kind of confusing, but if I go... Okay, so if I click on this button, you can get, that's kind of the equivalent of the someday view in Things 3, I think. And I can say I want to show all my tasks or only the tasks that are not on the back burner or only the tasks on the back burner. So that's cool. I think it could use with a little bit... it could do with a little bit more instruction. Okay, now we've added a couple tasks. let's say that we've done the brain dump. Normally, when I tell you to do a brain dump, I would say go through every single category and add all the tasks that you can think of. But in the interest of time, I won't, do that for you. Organize tasks and projects into categories. I see. So what they want you to do is actually write down all of your tasks in like the inbox or something. Is there even an inbox? There is an inbox, and then organize them into categories. Okay, so let's say we've done that, and now we've done this. Boop. Okay, nice. What is the next thing that it wants us to do? It wants us to select a workflow. What does that mean? Ultimately, to get you productive and working well, you need to find a good workflow. A workflow is the series of steps you take to prioritize and ultimately work off your tasks. To allow you to experiment with different systems, Marvin is built in a flexible way where you can try out different setups and productivity methodologies without switching apps constantly. You can customize your setup via the strategies. See next task. But if you prefer to work with a pre-made setup instead of starting from scratch, click on the menu on the top right and head to the workflow library. Okay. I find the terminology a bit confusing. Workflows, strategies, those things kind of sound similar to me. But let's just do what they tell us to do. So we're going to go over to the workflow library, which is at the top menu, workflow library. What do I see here? A workflow is a pre-made setup. Okay, you can enable a workflow as a starting point or head to the strategies to create a setup from scratch. I see. So these are sort of different pre-configured ways of setting up Marvin. And if I go to apps, I can say set up your Marvin to mimic Things 3, for example. That's interesting. Set up your Marvin to mimic OmniFocus. That's cool. So if you're like an OmniFocus user and you're switching to Amazing Marvin, this might be a nice thing to do just to get started with something that feels familiar to you. I like that feature. Then there are methodologies. I find that a bit confusing. So we've got strategies, workflows, methodologies, snippets, whatever those are. So it's definitely a bit confusing, a lot of terminology here. And I do think that it's nice that there's onboarding, but at the same time, for someone who's new to the app and who's not maybe super used to task management apps, I mean, I teach people how to, manage their tasks for a living. That's what I do for a living. So I'm very familiar with this. So if I find it confusing, probably a lot of other people kind of going to find it confusing. Okay. Well, no, let's go to strategies. So they said basically, if I'm understanding it correctly, workflows are like pre-configured strategy setups. So let's just set up strategies in the way that I would want to use it. Let's see. So there are all these panels, and you can basically toggle things on or off. So you can say I think these are basically features. I mean, they call them strategies, but I think they're basically features that you can toggle on or off. And since there is a lot going on in Amazing Marvin, I mean, it's nice that you can customize things, but there's a lot going on. Let's turn off some features that I'm probably not going to use and turn on some other features that I might want to use. Category context. See what category a project, a task belongs to. Sure, let's turn that on. Task notes, sure. Subtasks, I can see myself using subtasks sometimes. Labels. I don't really like to, or tags. I don't really like to use labels or tags very often. I'm going to turn that off. And this is something I would recommend for you as well. Keep things as simple as you can. Okay, simpler is better. And the last thing you want to do is procrastinate by spending hours and hours setting up your task manager. It's like really not worth it. Set reminders for tasks. I might want to sometimes do that. Smart lists. Use smart lists to create dynamic lists of tasks based on preset filters. I don't know why I would need that, so I'm going to turn that off. We can always turn that back on later, but I don't know why I would need that. Print lists. I don't have a printer, so I guess that's not going to happen. Roll over scheduled tasks. Automatically move scheduled tasks to today when you didn't finish them. So like if I say I intend to work on a task today and I don't do it, it's going to roll over to tomorrow. I don't like that. I don't think that's good because it really can snowball if you're not careful with that. So I don't want that. Check off behavior, make checking off an item very satisfying. Sure, we'll leave that one on. That could be fun. Timers. I don't use timers. I don't want to do that. Prioritization, priority levels. Nah. Eat that frog. Nah. Most important projects. Nah, I'm good. We can always turn this stuff on later. So it's kind of confusing because now it says the back burner is off, but we just set something. We just put a task on the back burner earlier in this video, so I'm a little bit confused now. So I don't know why that's off. Quick add. Quickly add tasks from anywhere. Oh, I guess there's like a button. I don't see it here, but I guess it shows up in the bottom right in some other panels. Okay, right-click menu. Sure. Hover button action. Sure. Skinny sidebar or sidebar. I don't know why those are both on. Bottom menu. Now I feel like there's already a lot of menus in Amazing Marvin. You know, like if you compare this with say like a Things 3, there's a lot less going on in Things 3, and I think Things 3 is a very popular task manager. And I think that one reason why it's so popular is exactly because it's very comfortable for people. They start, there's a quick intro, boom. Like right now I'm already feeling like I'm deep in the task management weeds, you know, so we can probably customize Marvin to a degree that works really well for someone like me. But I think it could be overwhelming for people who are new. So we can show our calendar, and I saw this. We're going to take a look at that later. There's a calendar feature in Amazing Marvin. You view tasks, events, and time blocks in day, work week, and month calendars. Interesting. We can also put tasks and events on a calendar-like timeline in your day. I guess this is for like time blocking. If you like to do time blocking, you can probably do this. Let's turn that on so we can see what it looks like. I don't really use that myself. Sync events and time blocks with your calendars. That's nice. That's cool. So we'll sync with your Google Calendar or your iCal or whatever you're using. I'm not going to do that right now, but this is good to know that they have this. Add items to Marvin as events. No, I like to have my task manager be for task management, not for event planning. I've used an app called Fantastical to manage my calendar, by the way. I love Fantastical, great app. Time management, day planning, plan one day at a time. I don't know what that means. Sure. Duration estimates. I never, like for example, OmniFocus will do the same thing. It will let you estimate how long you're going to work on a certain task. No, it doesn't really do anything for me. Time blocking. Schedule blocks of time in your calendar for different activities. Okay, but then let's say I want to try that. Then how is this different from agenda? That's confusing. So I'm going to turn off agenda then. And we're going to have time blocking. So it's a bit confusing. I don't know what that means. Time tracking, measure how long it takes. So Marvin can do a lot, by the way. Like, if you want everything to be together in one app, Amazing Marvin's probably a really good choice for you. Measure how long it takes to do tasks. I'm not interested in that. I like to measure my productivity by, am I consistently completing tasks that move me towards my goals or that have me achieving my goals? How long it takes is not really, I think that's not, you shouldn't measure that. That's not the point. Yeah, I mean, if you're a consultant and you get paid by the hour, I guess that's something that you might want to do if you're a lawyer or something like that. Oh, well. Planning ahead. Plan projects and tasks for each week. Nah. I mean, I like to do planning ahead, but not this way. Snooze items. Nah. Okay, we're going to have to go through these a little bit faster because there's a lot of stuff in here. Gamification. I'm not into gamification. Time savers. Okay, maybe later. Alerts and notifications. Procrastination count. Okay, so Amazing Marvin is supposedly really big on procrastination. So let's turn that on and see what it does. I don't know what that's going to do. Auto schedule due tasks. Automatically moves to tasks of today when they are due sooner or overdue. Yes. So we're going to talk later about due dates and when you should use a due date versus a schedule or intent date. This is something I've actually had a brief exchange about with Christina, one of the people who made Amazing Marvin. So we're on the same page there. I like that. So I want to do that. Whoa, there's a lot of stuff here. Configure projects to be either sequential or parallel. Sure, I think that's a good idea. Project shortcuts. Nah, I don't know what that is. Specify dependencies for your tasks and projects. I know a lot of people are going to love this. Let's turn it on at the risk of this getting really overwhelming and confusing. End dates and start dates. Nah, I think schedule dates and due dates are fine. Project focus picker. I don't know what that does. Work session scheduler. I don't know what that does. Decision makers. The task jar. Put all of today's tasks in a jar, then pull out one task at a time at random and complete it. You got to hand it to these people. Like, they're funny. So I think that's cool. That's a cool feature. I'm not going to enable it for now, but it's cool that they have that. Super focus mode. This is what we were doing earlier. Get stuff done one task at a time. It's cool, but nah. Beat the clock. Try to be faster than your time estimate. That's pretty fun. So there's a lot of fun stuff in here. Oh my. There's so many of these. Okay. I think that's enough. Let's actually get back to the app and do stuff with it. I'm just gonna open the main screen and whoa, what the bleep happened here? Days procrastinated. Okay. Well, I don't like that, so we're gonna turn that feature right off. See if we can find it. Procrastination. Procrastination count. Okay. Off. Now it's off. I'm just going to reload because I feel like maybe if you reload, maybe, things will look better. Okay. I didn't want to use a workflow, so I'm going to delete that one. And I did check out strategies, so that's good. So I set up a bunch of strategies. Okay. So this is fun. The dancing Marvin. I think that's fun, right? So one thing that I wanted to say right away is, Christina told me in the quick email exchange that we had, it's tricky for them to reach feature parity between their web app and their iOS app. And so I totally understand that because there's so many features in Amazing Marvin. It's just the two of them developing the app. Very tricky, to make sure everything keeps working, that you're eliminating bugs. And if you're constantly adding that many features, it can be tricky to add those features to the mobile apps as well. So I think what you'd find if you looked at some of the mobile apps, you would probably find that they are not quite, they don't look exactly the same. And so I think that's a real shame. I love how customizable this stuff is, to a degree. And I probably would go for don't add any new features at this point, but first make sure that the mobile apps are really, really stellar and top-notch and really match what you're seeing on the web. Because I think just based on my experience, a lot of my students, a lot of people watching my videos, they're going to be confused if they're seeing different things on mobile and web. A lot of people, they're not spending too much time thinking about their task management. They just want something that works and it looks familiar on the different devices that they use. So that would be positive feedback from me or constructive criticism rather, not positive, but it's great that there's a lot of customization, but I would probably say hold up on the new features. It seems pretty feature complete, Marvin, and put that energy into making a really cracking iPad OS app and making sure that the iOS app also is feature parity with the web app. I haven't checked out the Android app because I don't have an Android phone. Presumably it's roughly in the same shape. Okay. Wait, what I want us to do next? Pick a theme and style. Okay, this is kind of whimsical. Go to settings. So you can theme this stuff, and I may have already customized this because I'm not sure if it normally looks like this. So I'm colorblind. So if it has weird colors, sorry. Is it already dark purple? Show dark theme after sunset. Sure, I think that's a good one. So now we did stuff. Do I have to hit apply or something? So you can make things, you can say task spacing dense, normal, or comfy. Oh, I clicked here and it's just taking a while. You can do a lot of stuff. You can change the font and whatever. This is not super important, right? Whatever. Okay, let's say we did that. Now, I guess we could... Okay. We learned the basics. Okay. I'm not going to do that now. All right. So there's a community. I think it's a Facebook group. So that's interesting. I'm not on Facebook anymore. So I'm not going to join that either. Okay. Now let's actually start using this as a task manager. So see, it took quite a while to set up. I like the onboarding, but it does take a little bit of time. So first of all, I want to see my master list of my projects here. Okay. So I like this view. And I think we can customize the sidebar a little bit. So what have we got here? Master list is in here twice, which is a little bit confusing. What happens if I unhide this? And okay, and then I click out. What happens? Nothing. Oh, here's the master list again. All right, so it just seems to be a shortcut. But since it's already here, I think that's kind of redundant. So let's hide that again. Labels. I don't use labels. I thought we turned those off. So I'm going to hide that. Projects, no, I want to see my projects as part of the master list. Smart list, I think I turned that off as well. And then we have goals. And this I'm really excited about. Marvin lets you put in goals and connect your goals to projects. So I'm going to set that up in a minute. I'm going to show you because that's important. Okay, but let's do it like this. And I just wanted to look a little cleaner. And let's expand this. Okay. So now I can see my areas here, and if I go in here, I guess we haven't really set many things up, but if I click on podcast, we can see my project and the tasks in my project and stuff. So that's cool. And then here we have the calendar, which we hadn't talked about, but there's a calendar, and I guess we can schedule things. Maybe we can talk about that later. There's time blocks and stuff. Stats. I don't really care about stats, but how many tasks did I complete or whatever. That's not really, again, I don't really think that's a legit way of measuring your productivity. You should measure your productivity by What are your goals, and are you making consistent progress towards your goals? If so, you're productive. Stats are not really that meaningful. And this just gets us back to the strategies. Okay. So let's open the master list. And what if I want to say, okay, I want to create that podcast trailer tomorrow. So I can go here and I can click schedule and just click tomorrow. And what does that do? Like, where can if I go to the calendar, does it show up now in tomorrow? No, it does not. So I think that's confusing. So let's do it this way. These days I use Things 3, and I'm used to having a view where I can see what's coming up. I find that really helpful. Why don't we go over to the workflow library and just click that button to set things up to mimic Things 3. Make sure you save your current workflow I'm fine. Activate. Let's see what this does. I guess it's going to take a second. Okay. I'm going to close this. This does look very familiar. So now Marvin is set up kind of like Things 3. Okay, so we can still do the master list. Well, so first of all, the sidebar is gone, so that's a little confusing. But now I can click on upcoming, and I see that tomorrow I've got this project scheduled with its tasks, and I can collapse or open that, so I think that's nice. Under anytime, I can see what makes sense to do anytime. Okay, so I'm very familiar with this way of doing things. See, there we go. Marvin actually maps the Things 3 someday bucket to the back burner. The back burner, which is the Marvin feature. So I think that's cool. Okay. There's a logbook. Don't see all your tasks. Oh, yeah, so this is some of the stuff that I already did. Look at that. Okay, cool. So that's nice. This does feel familiar, but now I'm missing my sidebar. So can I turn my sidebar back on? If I go to Strategies. Sidebar. Skinny sidebar. Yes, so that one is going to there we go. Okay, so now I can open the master list if I want, and I can go here. Okay, so how about picking something to work on today? I think we're going to have to add a couple more tasks. So let's say one thing that I need to do is I need to order some new bowls. So there's a nice plus button here, so I can say, order new bowls. Okay, and I guess if I hit enter now, it's going to add it to the inbox. Whoops, did it just do that? Yes. But let's say I want to put that in the right category, I guess is Marvin speak. Can I drag? Yes, I can drag. That's a home thing. Okay. Now if I go under anytime, it'll show up here. I think that's pretty neat. I wonder what's going to happen now. Let's go into strategies. So the two task managers that I'm the most familiar with are OmniFocus, which I used for many, many, many years, and Things 3, which I use today. I'm kind of curious what's going to happen if I go to the workflow library and I set it up as OmniFocus. What's going to happen? Well, the colors change. Projects. Okay. Tags. I'm not using tags. Forecast. Starred. Review. So there's weekly review functionality built into Marvin. I think that's very cool. Let's make sure we set that up. I prefer the things view. So go back. I prefer the things view. Let's set that up again. And this time we kept the skinny sidebar, so that's nice. So weekly reviews are super, super important. By the way, if you really want to get a proper introduction to what task management actually is and how I manage my task, just go watch some of my intro videos. Also on my YouTube channel right here, or enroll in my courses. Yeah. Get stuff done with Things 3 or get stuff done with OmniFocus 3 or organize your life with Things 3 in a lot of detail, but also efficiently show you how you can really be more productive and more organized, right? Using those specific apps. So I don't want to go over too much task management theory because we're reviewing Amazing Marvin today. But okay, we're back and we made things look a little bit like things, which I feel comfortable with. That's nice. Thank you very much, Marvin. And now you can see, for example, this is a task. And let's say I want to do this task today. I'm just going to schedule it to today. And now if I click on today, it's going to show up here. That's nice. Okay. So let's talk about weekly reviews. So one of the amazing thing about Amazing Marvin is that it has a lot of features built in. So for example, one thing that I think is really important is the distinction between intent dates and due dates, right? So for example, let's say I have family coming over on Sunday, and we don't have enough bowls for everyone to have dinner. You know what I'm saying? Then what I would do is I would actually say this task has a deadline, and now I want to see if I can due date or deadline. I can set that to Sunday. Okay? And so that is different than the scheduling date. That's different than the date that I say, I'm planning to do this today. I mean, if I order it, let's call it buy. Let's call it buy new bowls, okay? So I'm planning to do it today, but the latest I have to do it is Sunday, because Sunday I'm having people over, let's say. Do you see that distinction? A lot of task managers, like a Todoist, for example, is a very popular task manager, but it doesn't let you make that distinction between when something really needs to be done by and when you want to do something. And so that is really unfortunate, because then you end up using the one kind of date that they have available as a deadline date, but you're kind of diluting the power, right? Then you... sometimes you just schedule a lot of things. You're like, I would like to work on a lot of things today, but then you don't. They roll over to the next day. You never know what is actually supposed to be due, So you want to use deadlines for things where something bad is going to happen if you don't do it. So in this case, if I don't buy my new bowls by Sunday, people will come over and I won't have enough, bowls for them to eat from. You know what I'm saying? So I want to avoid that. So the deadline is Sunday. At the same time, ideally, I don't want to leave it until Sunday to actually do this. So I love that Marvin has this. And in the same way, Marvin has lots of other cool features that I think all task managers should have. So let's talk about weekly reviews, and let's talk about goal setting a little bit. I think at that point, it'll be time to kind of wrap up, unless I come up with more stuff in the meantime, because I really geek out over this stuff. Let's go over to strategies, because I know there's a weekly review functionality. I just haven't found it. Let's see if it's in here. Review date. Set a date for when you want to review an item. Weekly review. Okay, I like this better. Get a checklist and recurring tasks for your weekly review. Okay. Now, where is that? Upcoming. Do weekly review. I guess it's set to Monday. So I wonder if there's where does that task live? It lives in the inbox. I think of my weekly review as a health thing. It helps me feel calmer, So if you're not familiar with what a weekly review is, it's just a way to make sure that you stay on top of everything that you want to do, okay? And in fact, if you go over to peteruckis.net and you scroll down and you just click weekly review cheat sheet, it's over at peteruckis.net/freebie/weekly-review-cheat-sheet. This is just a cheat sheet that I prepared, which has my 9-step process for doing a weekly review. It doesn't have to take very long, but if you're not already doing weekly reviews, it's probably the single most important thing that you can do to become more productive and at the same time feel more in control of stuff. So go grab that. It's really easy. Just leave your email address and I'll send it to you. Again, you can just go to peteruckis.net, scroll down, and just click weekly review cheat sheet. Okay, just grab that. Super important. Back to Marvin. So Marvin has created a do weekly review task for me, I guess. I guess it's a task with subtask. And there's this thing that pops up on the side. Again, this is kind of a confusing interface kind of thing. I'm like, I thought there was a sidebar on the left. Now there's a sidebar on the right. It's a bit confusing. So really my overall impression so far of Marvin is like, I love a lot of the features that they have. They're really complete on the features. Really lets you set it up the way that you want to use it. But the interface is a little finicky for my taste. So that's just a comfort thing. Open the weekly review settings. There you go. Parent category, health. That's what I was trying to do. Day of the week. I want to do my weekly review on Sunday. Okay. Regenerating weekly review tasks. Beep, 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 beep. And now, is there something to this? It's under health. Okay, I guess I have to put in my own tasks, huh? Okay, I see. Okay, so for this, what you could do is go grab my weekly review cheat sheet and then grab the 9 steps and punch those in. I'll just do a few. Do a brain dump. Add item, process my physical inbox. I've got a physical inbox sitting right here next to my desk. So just put like letters in that I need to reply to or whatever. Process my email inbox. So I mark every email as either replying for later or I deal with it right now. Process my task manager inbox. Update all categories and projects. So I go through every category, every project one by one, just to make sure, do they still reflect reality? Is everything up to date here? Did I forget to check something off? Those kind of things. See what's coming up. So I'll look at my calendar, what's coming up this week, and maybe schedule some tasks for the coming week. This is not exactly the 9 steps, but this is roughly what I do, okay? So, and Marvin created some nice tasks for this, and so now where are those tasks? Is my question. I guess they just show up here. I guess this is probably just a separate thing. So when it comes to Sunday, this task is going to be available for me, and I'll just click on it, and I can just work through it like this. I think that's pretty cool. That's a cool feature. So Marvin's very complete. Last thing I want to show you guys is goals, which I think is such a lovely, lovely, lovely addition to Marvin. And we don't talk about this enough. So I have a course called Big Picture Productivity, which is all about figuring out what your big goals are and translating those into action, okay? So we talk about task management a lot. What are your projects? What are your tasks, etc. But, you know, you can be, like, doing lots of stuff all day, but if you don't know what your goals are, like, are you going in the right direction, you know? Is what you're doing meaningful? And so that's why I think it's real sad that most task managers, they don't have the functionality built in for you to say, these are my goals and this is the projects they connect to, okay? So let me show you what I mean by that. I think we're going to have to turn goals on under the strategies tab. So let's just type goal. Goals and objectives, I think that's the one. So now when I X out of this, you'll see on the left, this new goals thing showed up. Create a goal to keep an eye on the big picture. Look at that. Like I said, these two folks and me, we think the same way. I call my course Big Picture Productivity, okay? Let's add a goal. All right. I love this interface. Add a goal. What's the goal name? Connect with successful people through my podcast. One of the reasons I have my podcast is just to connect with more successful people, you know? When you meet someone online, when you hear about someone you think is cool, you know, you could say, hey, I think you're cool, want to chat? But often people that are very successful, you know, they have busy schedules already. That may not sound like such an appealing offer. So one of the reasons that I have my podcast is that I can say, hey, I think you're cool, want to come on my podcast? I'll interview you. Now that's exposure for both of us, you know what I'm saying? And we get to have a fun chat. So I really like that. And this is one of my goals. Type of goal. End goal or ongoing. I love this. This is exactly how I think of goals. You know, some goals you have, you're always going to have those. Like, you know, one goal you have might be like, spend plenty of time with my family. You know, maybe a goal. That's an ongoing goal. That's never going to end. You're always going to want to continue to do that. But you may have a different goal, which is like lose 10 kilos of weight. And so that's an end goal. At some point you've achieved it, or your goal could be something like make a certain amount of money or whatever, right? This is an ongoing goal for me to connect with successful people through my podcast. And I can set a category for the goal. This is obviously a podcast goal. And, well, it's actually a relationships goal. Interesting. Okay, start. Now what happens? Now we get this nice new view. And what do I see here? I see, make sure this is a goal you really care about and that the goal is framed in a positive way. E.g. be a non-smoker instead of quit smoking. I love this. So like I said, the Amazing Marvin folks really help you actually get stuff done, you know, and not just like click, check off tasks, and do meaningful stuff and have you reflect. Set up trackers and progress. I don't know if a tracker is really right for this goal. Add actions, set expectations. Okay, so goals apparently have phases. I think those are just subheadings, but I believe you can like connect certain projects to this goal. So if I click add project, I don't want to do that. Can I connect an existing project to it? How do I do that? So create a podcast trailer. Can I link this project up with a goal? I feel like I should be able to. Edit, add project, edit. No. Okay, so maybe this is not going to work, but if we go into goals, I think, so I can say add a project. So if I said create a podcast trailer here, then what would happen? Now I could start adding tasks again, like watch a video on how to make a good trailer. choose some sound bites. Oh, well, those don't seem like they're part of this project. Now I'm a bit confused. Okay, but let's see what's going to happen now. Activate this goal. Whoa. Connect. Are you ready to do the commitment contract? This is really intense, guys, but it's cool. How important is this goal? That's not, I don't like ranking it. How difficult? I want to do this because I get a lot of energy from connecting with successful people and or people I respect. I anticipate the following challenges. Okay, I'm going to commit to this goal. Get started. Now, if I go in here, oh, here, it's sitting over here. You see, this is the project we just created, and it shows you the goal that it's connected to. So that's kind of cool. So this is probably a bit confusing, because I already created a project with that name. So let me just go and delete this. And we'll do another project, or another goal, rather. Let's add a goal, and I'll say build muscle. So one of the things I'm trying to do is, since I think like August of last year, I've been weightlifting, trying to get a little bulkier, more muscle. That's been really fun, and I want to keep doing that. Okay, so I'm going to say start. And there are some things I need to do for this. So one thing I need to do is come up with easy vegan lunch recipes. So my trainer told me, hey, you know what, for your lunch, you're eating way too many carbs and not enough protein. So I need to do something. I need to come up with some easy new foods that I can quickly make for lunch that are healthy, vegan, since I'm vegan, and also have plenty of protein and not too many carbs. So that's something I got to do. Let's say I also want to set up or decide on a workout schedule with my trainer. We already have one, but just for the sake of showing you guys how this works, let's do one more task. Buy some heavier dumbbells for lifting at home. I meet my trainer twice a week now outdoors since we're on lockdown. Gyms are not open. But I like to lift 3 days a week. So the third day I would like to do it at home because I can't go to the gym right now. Okay. Let's activate this goal. I'm not going to fill this all out right now because it's a little bit too much work. But I do we're going to have to go back and label this a health goal. So we're going to have to go in and say category health. That's a health goal. Okay. So now I think if I go to health, so I see these goals at the top. It doesn't seem to change when I go to a different place in the list. But if I click on build muscle, so this is my goal, and these are the tasks related to the goal. So I think that's very cool. And this is, honestly, a killer feature. So being able to list both your goals and their action steps in Amazing Marvin, that is so good. And I wish Things 3, OmniFocus, the other task managers that I like, I wish they had this feature as well. So helpful to have that one place where you can put everything. My current goal setting process is really just like writing out my goals, and it works really well. I've taught it to a bunch of people. They like it. It's really gotten them results. But this is just handy. It's just handy to have everything. And it forces you to think of what are the action steps for my goals. So I like that a lot. Okay. We've been talking for a long time. I really like Amazing Marvin, so I'm just going to go and turn off my screen sharing for a second. Ecamm Live. Okay, so final thoughts on Amazing Marvin. I really think that this task manager has so much potential. What was it? Mark was his name, and Christina. They really understand what it takes to make a good task manager that has all the features that you'd want to see in a task manager. So again, if you want to understand what those features are and which one is the right task manager for you, just check out that freebie that I mentioned, choosing the right task manager for you, my mini course, and the link is in the description below the video. But Amazing Marvin really hits a lot of those important features, and I love it for that. Downsides, the iOS app and maybe the Android app, I haven't been able to test that. Not quite at feature parity with the web app / desktop app, and I think that's really too bad because often I'm just on my phone on the go and I'm swiping and I'm entering tasks, and so if that experience isn't the same, I wouldn't enjoy using it as much. So what I would love to see from the Amazing Marvin folks is to get to that point where don't add any more features. All the features you could possibly want are in there at the moment. Make the onboarding a little easier. Make the interface a little bit less overwhelming, a little bit less confusing, and make it look the same on all platforms. If they can do that, I think this would be close to the perfect task manager, okay? So a lot of potential. I can see a lot of people loving this right now. And if you like it, go check it out. You can sign up for a free trial. Go check it out and play around with it. The only thing I'll say is, like, don't get too stuck on procrastination by task manager customization. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, thank you for watching. Whether you were watching live or you're watching the recording, thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you got any questions, just leave those in the comments and I'll get back to you. So have a great day.